Hello bookish friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eve from the Bookish Eve and we are going to do a weekly reading vlog. I do love watching reading vlogs and seeing how people spend their week reading, and that is what we are going to do today. We are going to spend the week reading and we're going to see which books I pick up. On average I read about 3 to 4 books a week, so we'll see how many I get done. The first one I want to read is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is like the perfect read for fall. It is on my fall TBR and people have just been telling me that I would love this book, so my expectations are high. My expectations are really, really high, and I just hope that this book will hold up to those expectations and I will love it as much as everyone says I would love it. This book is about Elizabeth. She's a librarian in one of the great magical libraries of her country. In that library, it's not about normal books. Oh no, it's about grimoires. Grimoires have a life of themselves. Some of them can talk. There's different classifications from 1 to 10, 10 being the most dangerous. And the grimoires can talk. And everything is filled with so much magic and whimsy. It just feels like the perfect read for fall, and also a perfect read for me personally, because if I love one thing, it's magical libraries. And also I love the cover. This is one of my favorite cover artists of all time. Yeah, I just hope it will be everything that I'm expecting from this book and more. I'll just get started, like right now, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, little check-in on Sorcery of Thorns. I am now in chapter 5. This is stunning. This is stunningly written. I am regretting not picking this up sooner, and I will take my time reading this. I am just about halfway through Sorcery of Thorns. I don't know what I expected. I guess, a kind of cozy fantasy. Maybe something along the lines of Uprooted, because it also has the tower and the wizard theme in it. But this is so different. I was so sure I knew where the story was going, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what we're doing. No, we weren't doing it. What I thought was going to be the big reveal of the book was like immediately revealed. This is 200 pages. Almost halfway. This is 200 pages and it feels like it's been 1,000. Everything that happened in this book, you could have dragged that out and put it into a 3-book series. And this is so much better for the sole reason that it is not a series. Okay, so far, I think this would be like a 4.75 star. Almost a 5-star book. I'm hoping that something happens in the last half of the book that makes me say that this is a 5-star book, because I feel like it's not giving me the feeling yet. I have high hopes. It's the next morning, it's 9 a.m. and now I have a few hours of time, so I will be trying to finish this book now. This book is perfection. 5 stars. 6 stars. These characters have my whole heart. Elizabeth and Nathaniel and Silas especially have my whole heart. This is just utter perfection. I am wanting to buy every single book that the author has ever written and read them all. I have Vespertine somewhere. I think I have it on my fall TBR, but I feel like I need to sit with this for a minute. And usually when I finish a book, I want to start right in the next one. but for this one I feel like I need to sit with it for a minute. I'm going to go and bake apple cinnamon muffins now and just cry a little bit more. Thank you to everyone who has recommended I read this. If you haven't read it yet, pick it up. There's this one quote that I'll probably never be able to forget. For these were not ordinary books the libraries kept. They were knowledge given life, wisdom given voice. They sang when starlight streamed through the library's windows. They felt pain and suffered heartbreak. And sometimes they were sinister and grotesque, but so was the world outside. And that made the world no less worth fighting for, because wherever there was darkness, there was also so much light. And I guess that's like the most important thing that you should take away from this book. Fighting, even when it seems hopeless. There is so much fighting in this book, even though it seemed hopeless. It is definitely one of my favorite reads of all time, definitely one of my favorite books of the year so far. I don't think I can part with this world just yet, so I think I need a bit of a breather in between books. I am going to pick another book later today, but before I do that, I'm going to clean up the apartment a little bit and also bake some appropriately fall-themed apple cinnamon muffins. I love baking and it calms me down, and I need a bit of time to think about this book. Yeah. Okay, so the next book I actually let my boyfriend pick. I gave him 2 stacks of books. I gave him my fall TBR and I let him choose my next read. And he picked Blood and Moonlight by Erin Beatty. And I know nothing about this book, so I'm going to read the short summary here. Rising above the city of Collis is the holy sanctum, and watching over its many spires is Catherine, an orphan girl whose unique skills serve the sanctum's master architect, for she alone can spot the building's flaws in construction before they turn deadly. But when Catherine witnesses a murderer escaping the scene of his crime, she's pulled into a dangerous chain of events where the only certainty is that the killer will strike again. Assigned to investigate is the brilliant and enigmatic Simon, whose insights into the mind of a predator are frighteningly accurate. As the grisly crimes continue, Catherine finds herself caught between killer and detective while hiding her own secret, a supernatural sight granted by the moon, destined to make her an outcast and the only thing that might save her and those she loves from becoming the next victims. That actually sounds really cool. Now the title makes sense. Blood and Moonlight, magical powers gifted by the moon. That sounds amazing. And actually, I am studying to become an architect. And so this is kind of really interesting that she's working for an architect. And I'm really excited to see what this is all going to be about. I have no expectations because I have seen no one talk about this book before. And I will let you know what I think after I got a little bit into it. It's been a few days, to be honest. I have had the worst week, to be honest, and so I didn't really have much time to read. I did, however, wanted to give you a reading update because I listened to an audiobook while doing some stuff around the house and at work. I listened to the 3rd book on the Bridgerton series all in one day. That's why I can't give you an intermediate reading update. So this is Benedict and Sophie's story, and it's kind of a Cinderella reimagination in the beginning, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not typically a romance reader. I do, however, enjoy some romance books, and this is like a historical romance, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows the Bridgerton series, and maybe even the Bridgerton books. I feel like I'm a little late to the trend, but I've really, really enjoyed that book. I think it has to be my favorite one, although I think it got a little annoying in the end because I felt we were going around and around in the same circles and there was nothing really happening for like 100 pages, and there was nothing really happening or advancing in like a few hours of listening. Actually, like at least 2 hours of listening, I feel like we didn't get anywhere and we had the same problems over and over again. But that's just a little thing that irked me about the book. I did really enjoy it, and it was a lot of fun. It is Saturday today, so I got a little bit of reading done. I typically wake up at the ass crack of dawn for some reason without an alarm. For some reason I just can't sleep long on the weekend, so I have had time to continue reading Blood and Moonlight by Erin Beatty. I am almost done. I have about 110 pages to go, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I originally thought I would, because now I feel kind of more connected. The story has picked up, there's been a few murders, and we are now emotionally invested because there's high stakes surrounding some of the main characters in this book. And also the romance has kind of advanced a little bit, although for my liking it was a little bit too sudden. Like, I felt like they were strangers a few pages ago, and then suddenly they were like exchanging glances and kisses, and that was a little bit sudden, but I do really like Simon's character. There's been some more murders and some weird things happening, and she's discovering a little bit more about herself and her magic, and it's really interesting. So I will be finishing this book today. I will probably need about 1.5 hours to finish this book, and then I'm thinking of picking up the second book in this duology, but also maybe not. I'm deciding whether I like the end. So this is not an amazing book, but I'm enjoying reading it so far. So I think this would be sitting at like a 3.5 star. I'm talking to you from my bedroom currently because I thought a change of scenery would be quite fun. I do most of my reading in the living room because I've got everything there. And I will give you guys a reading update when I'm done. And then I'll see what I'll be reading next. Maybe I'll pick something from my TBR jar. Yeah, we'll see. I will see you guys in a bit. I have another reading update for you. I just finished Blood and Moonlight, and I think it's fair to say that my hunch was correct. This is a 3.5 star read. It was fun. I really enjoyed the Criminal Minds aspect. In this book, it was a very serial killer investigation and very psychological. There was also some heavy themes of mental illness in this book and schizophrenia. Oh my god, I'm just realizing that there's like a cathedral type building on the cover. I never noticed that. I thought it was just streaks of silver, but it's a big part of this book takes place in this holy sanctum, which is like a grand building, and it's very interesting. I do have to say, I would have probably rated this higher if I had been surprised by the revelation of who the murderer was. I think I guessed it since about the halfway mark, and that's kind of disappointing because I was hoping to be surprised, but I did watch Criminal Minds a lot of times, and so I feel like I can pretty accurately guess the pattern in which those episodes and those type of books move. So even if I figured it out, maybe you won't. I think this is worth a read. It's a very unknown book, and I think it's worth reading. I really do. I really liked Katrine and Simon, although I have no idea what the second book would be about now, because it doesn't really end with a cliffhanger or anything like that, and the story seems to be wrapped up. Yeah, but this was a really cool book. It was a fun read. 3.5 stars. That is a good rating for me. Now that I've finished this and I have had a terrible week, I have to think about what to read next, and I have no idea because I want something that I have high hopes for. What do I think would make me happy? Okay, I have 2 packages here. Okay, yeah. Since I read Sorcery of Thorns and I loved it so much, I bought Mysteries of Thorn Manor, and I'm actually going to be reading this now. I feel like this is going to give me the good feeling that I need right now. Also, it's incredibly short, so I will probably be able to finish it today as well. And I need something happy. It is about 2.5 hours later, and I already finished Mysteries of Thorn Manor. This was the cutest novella ever. I am so glad that the author felt pressured to publish another novella because people have been missing the world so much. Especially reading Silas's last chapter was so nice. I love him, and I love Elizabeth and Nathaniel dearly, and I love the story that she thought of for this novella, the magical manor, and I mean we know the manor already from the book. I love reading the way that Margaret Rogerson writes sorcery and magic. It is so enchanting reading it, and I feel like I want to go into these pages and live in this manor, nightmares and all, and I want to discover all of the hidden rooms and the magic that hides and the grimoires that have secrets and are keeping stuff. I wish I was Elizabeth in more ways than one. On the back here it says Elizabeth could have spent the rest of her life exploring Thorn Manor's hidden rooms, and I feared that I would be the same. I fear that if I had a magical house with magical rooms and a library and a study and hidden doors in the walls that you need to convince to let you through, I fear I would never leave my house. I don't really leave my house as it is, but if I had a magical manor, you would not see me ever again. I would disappear off the face of the earth, and I would be happy to die in that house. I am so jealous that this is not real. Devastated, actually, that this is not real and that I can't live in a magical, haunted manor with a mind of its own. I am seething with jealousy over Elizabeth being able to live in this magical manor and having Nathaniel and Silas and Mercy and Katrine, and I do not have a magical manor or Nathaniel or Silas or Katrine or Mercy. I do, however, have this book, and it makes me really, really happy. This will probably become such a feel-good read for me. It's like, most people have this one movie that they watch over and over again and over again when they feel sad or sick. For me, that movie is 10 Things I Hate About You, and I fear that this would become this book. Because it's so short and quick to read, and it gives me all the good feelings. I said before that I had a genuinely terrible week. By the time you see this, my childhood dog will have been put down. He would have turned 15 years old at the end of October, and I was so sure he was going to make it, but his health has deteriorated and his back legs don't work anymore and he can't get up. It's time to do him a kindness, and he's lived a long and happy life, but it is still incredibly devastating to know that he won't be there by the time I go home next week to visit. But this helped me forget about that, and so I feel like if you're ever in need of escaping reality and getting lost in a world with magic that just makes you feel good and wondrous and excited while you're reading it, I would really recommend Sorcery of Thorns and Mysteries of Thorn Manor. But I think that I will end this weekly reading vlog now. I have read 4 books this week, 5 books, including the 2 audiobooks. I listened to the second and the third Bridgerton book this week, and I read Sorcery of Thorns, Blood and Moonlight, and Mysteries of Thorn Manor, which doesn't really count as a book, it's a novella, I know. But with everything that's been going on, I feel like 5 books in a week is still a lot. And yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I have apparently caught the sniffles, so I'm not feeling great and my voice might sound weird, but yeah, I'm going to end this vlog right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this wasn't too boring for you. I personally love watching weekly reading vlogs and seeing what and how people read, and I hope this was fun. I will probably do more of these in the future. You have no idea how much I appreciate all of you, even though it's not a lot of you so far. But it is so much fun to share my love for books to people who are willing to listen. And it makes the world a brighter place to live in for people like us who love books and talking about books. So thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.